am in a Mercedes, so I have all the Mercedes touch points that I needed to feel like a Mercedes, and I have a steering wheel that is 99% genetically similar to the one in the AMG GT. This is the Mercedes V-Class. Now there's the V-Class, right? But there's also the Vito. So this is the Vito. Why would I want to test this car? Because this really happened, alright? So I borrowed an Alphard from a friend, and we want to go for a family holiday. And after you sit 7 people in the car, there's no room for luggage. The body roll is alright. Let's go here. Ooh. Now this one is fitted with the same engine as the previous E-Class E300 hybrid. So it has a 2.1 liter diesel without the hybrid system, and it's a very torquey engine. Okay. Oh, I like the suspension. It's floaty. It's comfortable, I would say. So, can I make a U-turn in front? Oh yes, I can. Right. So the drive isn't. I mean, yes, the sitting position is in a way that we're not used to, because it doesn't sit like a car, but it is actually a more comfortable sitting position than the usual car, because you sit as if you are in a restaurant, a very expensive fancy restaurant, and those where, you know, the waiter will push the chair out, pull the chair out, and then you walk in and then he sits you in comfy cushions, and that's how you sit, like on a chair on the dining table. That's how you sit. Like that is your sitting position, and this sitting position is super comfortable. You can sit for hours and talk here. You know, it's not the usual sitting position where the whole person was slanted like that. So that's not how it is. And I make no mistakes. This is not a sports car. It's not a sports SUV. It's not whatever related to sports. But the proposition of this is that you get to fit your entire family in the car. Wow, you want to go for a road trip, there is still room to put your luggage. And if you have, okay, the standard family size is like daddy, mommy, 2 kids or 3, and 5 is the standard one, right? And 7 will just be another 2 seats. Actually, when you come to think about it, there's only 2 extra seats. And they call it a family carrier, family hauler and all that. But my family, when we want to go for dinner, let me do some calculation. My grandpa, my grandma, my dad, my mom, myself, my wife, 2 kids, and my helper, and then my... So there's already 9 of us. I haven't even counted in my brothers, or my sister, or their spouses, or their girlfriends, and all that. I haven't even counted that in. Of course, you need a travel coach for that, alright? But this one, this is a 10-seater. It is a 10-seater family MPV from Mercedes-Benz. So it's called the Vito. Okay? Oh hi Vellfire, I'm larger than you. I see you. You look at me. You want this car? You want a Mercedes? Yeah. So that's how it is. In terms of the drive, right, I think it's very comfortable. I can definitely hear the diesel engine slightly, but as you know, diesels are more suited for cars that are big, family hauling and all that. A diesel will be a better choice because they are torquey and they don't consume a lot of fuel. They consume very little, in fact. And this car is, I mean, I don't expect an MPV to corner flat, but actually this one is nice, and the turning circle can be so tight, which means I can circumnavigate very easily. Yes, it's a Mercedes-Benz and it is rear-wheel drive. This car is rear-wheel drive. So, yeah, it's very torquey. And it's not as loud as most diesels are. Maybe because the engine is far away from me, or how, I don't know, but it's not as loud as it could have been. So it's comfortable, visibility is excellent. I'm gonna fit you guys here in a while. Guys, now can you hear me? I'm sure you can, right? So this is roughly my visibility. Of course I'm taller than you. Okay, joking. So could be closer to your visibility. So look at this steering wheel. This is the one from, I don't know, C class. They're all using this steering wheel, right? So you actually feel like an actual C or E class, because that's the actual steering wheel. Very nice perforated leather here, leather stitching over here, and you have this metallic feel thingy. Satin chrome. You all know I like satin chrome finishing, right? So it's nice. And then of course the dials are like Mercedes-Benz's, but not as fancy as the newer ones. And all these touch points, can you see the power seat controls? All that are here. The buttons and all that, they're all there. And you know what? This car has automatic parking. So yeah, automatic parking, the type where you lift your hands and then it just do its job. It is smoother and easier to accelerate than those usual 2.4 or 2.5 Alphards or Vellfires. Yeah, it's definitely easier. So now I'm on a road that is not very nice, but yeah, this suspension is really good. It's comfortable. Of course it is a bit floaty because it is an MPV. You need it to be comfortable. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier on, you have 10 seats. You have a media player with a not DVD player, it's actually an LCD screen, but it's a media player, so you can stuff in a USB thumb drive and you can play anything from there. Okay, and you have Bluetooth telephony. You have lots of space and lots of lugging capacity for this car because it is big. It is a big MPV. It's not like super duper huge because it's slightly larger than the Vellfire and Alphards. So that is its proposition, which I think is very smart. Now, how much is the Alphard? You may ask. Ooh, very small turning circle, very good. So this car, if I'm not wrong, those are about 390,000, right? This car is 100,000 ringgit less than them. Yes, 100,000 ringgit less. This car is about 290. It's a Mercedes-Benz. It's not a V-Class. The V-Class is shorter. It is a 7-seater and it suffers from the same problem with Vellfires and Alphards, whereby when you fit 7-person, there's very little room for luggage. So it suffers from the same problem, but of course the V-Class has the power tailgates and all that. But this one doesn't have power tailgate, but it has power doors as well. So yeah, I'm gonna try and find a spot so that I can stop and show you guys the car. This looks like a very nice spot. This is the Vito Tourer. So I've been really wanting to test drive this car because I think it is a very good move from Mercedes-Benz. Now think about it this way. We have the Alphard and Vellfire having the entire segment to themselves, right? But recently, I believe you've seen more and more of these going around town, because I think people see the reason and the prospect of it, because it is to me, a very interesting prospect. Because first of all, it is a Mercedes-Benz, okay? And you know they have the V-Class, and then they have this Vito Tourer. So the V-Class is actually a 7-seater, almost the same thing as the Vellfire or Alphard, but this one has one more thing. Okay, not the Apple one more thing. It has one more row. Now you might be thinking, well, isn't that too much? But think about it this way. Say for example, my family, right? Grandpa, grandma, father, mother, myself, my wife, my kids, is already 8 person. You plus in a helper, is already 9. So how do you normally fit that kind of seating capacity in a 7-seater, right? So this is the proposition. It has 10 seats. It is a 10-seater, and I personally have experience whereby 7-person going on a road trip, and you can't even fit luggage of all 7-person, because when all 7 seats are utilized, you have no more room for luggage, for bags and all that. Now I'm gonna go through some of the quirks and features of this car. First of all, the headlights. Okay, it looks very, very similar to the headlights of the Mercedes S-Class. Yep. So you have daytime running lights. You have this beautiful light strip that comes up here, the little, LED intelligent light system. So this headlight actually swivels with your steering, and when it detects oncoming cars, it will switch from high beam to low beam automatically. So it has these features, and it is a good looking detailed headlamp. It's a good looking MPV. It is good looking. I mean, amongst MPVs, okay? And of course you have the prestigious Mercedes-Benz logo. These are 17-inch, and they have, you can actually spec it to 18-inch if you want to, and 18-inch will come with Michelin tires. Now this is something interesting. To refill the car, you open the door, and that's your fuel flap. This is where you refill it. It runs on diesel, 2.1 liter, 380 Newton meters of torque. So it is more torquey than the usual 2.4 or 2.5 Vellfire or Alphards. Okay? Interesting. And then you get double power sliding doors. Let's come in here. And then you press this button. Yeah. Okay, you have that. And up here you have a media player. They don't call it a DVD player now, because do you even have a DVD burner at home at the first place, right? So this is a media player, and you can slot in your thumb drive up front in the USB ports, and then you can play any media here. You can load your movies and all that. I think it is a more modern solution than a DVD player, because come on, who brings around a stash of DVDs nowadays? And one interesting thing is that if you just happen to lurch forward and you want to grab something, and your head pushes this, see that? So it's very good. All right. Another very nice thing about it is that in the second row here is fully flat. The floors are flat, so it is very, very comfortable for all 3 passengers. You have rear aircon vents here through the roof, which is, to me, either it has to be roof mounted or it has to be B-pillar mounted, so that you get proper airflow on your face. And it has 3-zone climate control, so you have left, right, and then the rear as well. To open the doors, just an elegant small little button. That's how you open it. Yeah, so both sides get power doors. And in terms of ISOFIX, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 ISOFIX child seat mounts. So if you have 4 kids and the eldest is 5 years old and the youngest is 1 year old, you can put them like that. So you can put the 2 elder ones behind and the 2 younger ones here, and then maybe your helper to sit there. Perfect. Now, to step into the second row, I mean, when you open the door, right, to go into the third row, look at it. The second row can actually be folded like that, so that it's very easy to go to the third row, and then the third row can be lifted up like that, so that you can go to the fourth row. So I think they've got everything covered in terms of, I mean, these are the Europeans, right, and this is Mercedes-Benz, right? So yeah, it's very easy to just, of course you cannot expect this to again tumble up like that, alright, but you see a very clear path to the fourth row if you work in a company and your ranking isn't that high. So you have to learn this when you go out for lunch with your bosses, alright, lift it up, and this is where your bosses will sit, the driver's driving, right, and then your managers will be here, and then you better go there, alright. So okay, that's a joke lah, huh? But that's how it is, okay? Second row can be folded like that, the third row can be lifted up, and then you can walk straight to the fourth. Yeah. Can you recline individually? Oh yes, you can. So is the second row spacious? It is very spacious, and if you look at me, yeah, super spacious. And even in the second row, it's not a captain's seat, but it's fully alright. Now let me show you how the third row feels like. Even in the third row, you get your own armrest. Okay, and what are these? You can actually open this window, but it slides out, not down. Okay, so these are proper armrests, not like the small little T-Rex type that you get. And look at me. Yes, third row. This is the third row. You have your own aircon vents here as well. Of course, it follows the climate of the second row. But man, this is awesome, and it's flat down here. Okay, look at me. Yeah. See that? You're wondering what's that, right? This is one huge panel of window for the third row. No, sorry, the fourth row passenger. Look at it. So I'm here now. The fourth row is a bit tighter in terms of headroom because they put the seats higher, slightly higher, so that leg room is, of course, there's not as much leg room as the 3 rows of seats up front. This is the fourth row. Okay, this is the row that is removable, but it is way more livable than many others, and it has actually 3 individual seats. Not individual, but it was contoured that way to fit 3, and you each have seat belts and all that, and you get to open this. It's powered as well, so it pushes out so for air to come in. Very interesting, and I like the visibility even seated at the back here, because it's a very airy place to be in still. Okay, so this is your perfect 3-generation household family car. But even if it's 2-generation, imagine the old folks at home, mom, dad, and you have 4 kids. This is perfect. This is perfect. Even in the third row, you get a 12-volt charger point, so they can charge their smartphones and all that. A little holder over here, and this doubles as a larger armrest. And of course, you have your own individual armrest as well. Some reading lights and hooks at the third row. So when you think about it, right, the proposition of this car is to move your family in comfort, safe, and doesn't guzzle a lot of fuel and doesn't cost a lot of money, comparatively speaking. Okay, don't expect a 120,000 MPV from Mercedes-Benz. Okay, but at 290,000 for all this, I think this car is a value buy. It is a value buy, and it serves its purpose. It serves its primary purpose as a family hauler. Now, even if you put on all 4 rows up, there is still some luggage space at the back here. So this one doesn't come with a power boot, but at least there is a strap here, very thoughtful of them, for more petite owners or passengers. But mostly you'll be maybe your driver or daddy's gonna do the job, right? These are the rear lamps. It is LED, so the LED strips are like that. Very stylish. Another thing that I noticed is the ground clearance of this car. The ground clearance is not as low as the usual Vellfire and Alphards. So those cars, right, when you reverse or whatever, right, things gonna get in there. I'm gonna show you. This is my foot. Look at these. Proper Mercedes-Benz stuff, right? So you're actually touching the same buttons and controls as an S-Class. 3 memory settings, and you have all these are finished in nice setting chrome materials, powered side mirrors and all that. I mean, that's usual, right? This might look small on camera, but it can actually fit a large bottle, and it's segregated, so you can put your smart tag over here, bottle over here, other stuffs over there, and it's full length. And then here you get another compartment as well, and that's where the holder is. Now, these are not super duper luxurious stuff, so don't expect all of this to be squishy, mushy materials. But at least, like I mentioned, hard plastics can be hard, but not the scratchy type. These are not the scratchy type, so these are alright in my opinion because of the price. Don't forget about the price for what you're getting. That's the steering wheel. Very sporty, right? Perforated here, leather wrap here. It's from one of those I don't know, really sporty Mercedes-Benzes. I don't think, except that some are flat bottom, right? But this one, like I mentioned, 99% similar to what you will be holding in a C63 AMG. And you have these nice pedal shifters at the back there. So it's a 7-speed G-tronic gearbox. So you have everything. Everything is here. You have voice control, you have Bluetooth telephony, you have 6 airbags, you have lane departure warning, you have automatic parking, you have reverse sensors, you have 3-zone climate control, powered doors, both sides, everything. You have all that. And then a huge big media player as well. So, and look at this holder. Yes, and you get remote controls for your media player as well if you sit at the 3rd row or the 4th. Sorry for all that. Alright, this is a huge compartment, rubberized here, so which is really nice. 12-volt charger, 2 USB ports, and then you have, yes, a refrigerator. A refrigerator that can hold ice. So this is not those where they just, you know, route air conditioning over the cooler box and then they call it a day off. This is some proper stuff inside here. All right, this can serve as a freezer, so you can really put your cold drinks and all that. Not beer, huh? No beer, please, no beer. And up here is you can put your stuffs up here. So it's well spec. Cup holders over here, and then cup holders. Yeah, these are some small compartments where you can put your tissue boxes and all that. Oh, not the tissue box, the packets that come with it, the big ones. Okay, and visibility is excellent. Visibility of this car is perfect. Very nice. And that's the center console. Now, these are not the newest Mercedes-Benz design. Okay, this is the Vito. Vito and the V-Class is different. Alright, but you get your stuffs. You get telephony, you get media, radio, and then if I move into reverse, you can see the reverse
camera, and then the lines that correspond to the steering. See the yellow line switching and all that. Yep. So you have all this, and 3-zone climate control, and you can switch the car from eco, comfort, manual. I wonder who wants manual, right? Who needs manual in such a car? So you have all this you know, Mercedes stuff. They drop slowly. Okay, now how is this car for a proposition? I think, right, as a family hauler, as a family carrier, I think it does what it is supposed to do. It's nice to drive, all right, it's pretty comfortable. No, actually it's very comfortable, in fact. And there's a coffee cup if the car detects that you be sleepy and all that, then it's gonna remind you. Okay, sensors and all that. Light, vanity, this normal. Hold your cards here. You have a sunglass holder, all that, the lights, reading lights and all that, all the features. So you have all that, and everyone gets air conditioning. And yeah, man, that's the Vito Tourer, and I think it is a rather good proposition, a very good option when you think about it. Vellfire, Alphard, they're everywhere, and then they're 7-seaters only, but this guy here fits 10. Yeah, from Mercedes-Benz. Seriously, when you think about Mercedes, right, they are relentless. I mean, they really make everything, man. Why other car makers are so slow to respond to market needs, I wonder. That's why Mercedes is gaining all the market share they need, and this car is very, 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 very practical. You can do your cycling trips, you can fetch people up and down. Yeah. Alright. Very good suspension. Torquey enough? Torquey enough. I like the suspension. It's very comfortable. The brakes are easily, I mean, you can modulate the brakes very easily, but be mindful, it is not the usual Mercedes-Benz brakes that you get with a C63 AMG. I mean, it is still a lot of car to move around, so when it comes to braking, it is still a lot of car to do braking as well. Ooh. 200 meters. You don't want to let me merge, but I have torque. I have enough torque. Sorry. Yep. So that's the Vito Tourer. I think this is a very, very good option against those. First of all, because big car needs big torque. So I don't think a normal 2.4, 2.5 liters cut it as a big luxurious MPV, because you need to rev the engine. A diesel like that makes more sense, okay? And it makes more sense, right? Sorry, that is Waze. Yep. And I like the steering wheel. It's unlike the steering wheel of any MPVs, because it is a very, very sporty steering wheel. And the turning circle is fantastic because this car is rear wheel drive, so you can turn into very, very tight spots or make U-turns and all that, where normal cars around this size wouldn't be possible. So that is also one thing that you can do. In terms of looking at whether you can pass, I like the fact that I can just see down like that because of the visibility and the ride height that I get. Okay, and it doesn't have those ridiculous body kits from those Japanese luxury MPVs where they are super duper low, you always scrape them. Yeah, that is the big difference. I guess the Europeans are just more pragmatic, I would say. Alright, gotta return the car now. And thanks for watching. Hope you guys subscribe to my channel.
and click the little bell after you subscribe. Thank you.